The Sun is the closest star to our Earth. The planet's surface is sufficiently warmed by the sun's light for living things to grow and survive. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy by plants. They then provide us with air to breathe. The Sun is expected to last between 7 and 8 billion years before it sputters and dies, according to astronomers. But before that, the Sun will run out of hydrogen in 5 billion years. Natural occurrences have impacted the Sun's ability to warm the Earth throughout history. So, the question is, what would happen if the Sun exploded? Consider this imaginary scenario and consider what it would be like to live on Earth without the Sun. The distance between the Sun and Earth is 93 million miles, and it takes about 8 minutes for sunlight to reach Earth's surface. This information would reach us 8 minutes after the Sun exploded. There won't be any gravitational pull to keep the Earth in a specific orbit after those first 8.5 minutes. It will travel in a straight line at a speed of 18 miles per second into the solar system and beyond. The Earth would then begin to fly straight after that. Mass panic would probably start at that point. Within the first 24 hours, there would be widespread panic, social unrest, and a breakdown of society. The media and the internet will be inundated with bazillions of theories about what's going on. The world is ending right now. After the explosion of the Sun, to understand the effects of such a potential explosion, scientists have already modeled this scenario. The outcomes demonstrated that the star would not detonate like a typical bomb. It won't instantly expand because of the gravity. In such a case, a modest rise in the Sun's core temperature would unleash a massive radiation storm on Earth. Without protection, ultraviolet rays would harm our eyes and lead to skin cancer. The temperature will initially increase until it reaches 60 degrees Celsius, which is 140 degrees Fahrenheit, or even potentially higher. However, in each of these scenarios, the Sun will obliterate the majority of the planet's life. Rise in the temperature of the core would lead to another explosion. In this case, a white fire will cover the entire sky, making it light even at night. A display like that would probably be too bright for human vision. Therefore, the majority of people will become blind. This solar explosion will have a force comparable to the explosion of many octillion nuclear warheads. After that, a flood of hot plasma will traverse the universe. The temperature will rapidly increase when it reaches the Earth. Ocean water will evaporate fairly quickly. The entire planet will resemble a massive steam bath. Around the world, numerous fires will break out, and fierce storms will fan the flames. Following the explosion, storms will form as a result of the temperature difference and could reach speeds of up to 620 miles per hour or 1,000 kilometers. In other words, the vortices on Earth will move faster than even the notorious hurricanes of Jupiter. It can reach a maximum speed of about 370 miles per hour or 600 kilometers. Unbelievably powerful winds will propel sand and dust clouds into the atmosphere, causing enormous tsunamis. Hurricanes will carry millions of people into the sea. Under the wreckage of the skyscrapers, many more people will be trapped. People might try to seek refuge in bunkers during this onslaught of natural disasters. But when the plasma from the Sun strikes the Earth, they will also perish. Along with being knocked out of its orbit, Earth will be hurtling away from the Sun. It could smash into a billion pieces and collide with another planet. But what if the Earth survived till the Sun totally disappeared? What would happen after the disappearance of the Sun? The food web as a whole would collapse as life begins to decompose. The planet's surface temperature would decrease within the same week, and that is for now bearable. However, the universe is a stark and chilly place with an average temperature of minus 273 degrees Celsius. So after a month, it would simply get colder and colder. Extremely cold regions like the Arctic will quickly become intolerable. If the Sun goes out during the northern hemisphere winter, the rate of extinction of humans and other life forms would quicken. The overall atmospheric height would decrease as density increased due to Earth's poles being cooled. As the atmosphere falls, strong winds all over the world will start to blow towards the equator. Strong ground-level currents would result from these winds' disruption of the jet stream and escalating coldness. In most areas, the water vapor in our atmosphere would condense and turn to snow. Blizzards would hit many locations. The atmosphere would divide into its individual gas components based on density in addition to experiencing cold, wild weather. The amount of breathable air would be disrupted as the lower density gases would rise and the higher density elements would drift to the ground. Living close to the ocean would be favorable because it could prevent your area's surface from cooling too quickly. CO2 is yet another issue. Physiologically significant gas CO2 is present in low concentrations, but it becomes toxic at high concentrations. At 1% of air, you'd start to feel sleepy, but at more than 10%, you'd start to have convulsions and eventually pass out. The majority of people will pass away from violence, hypoxia, hypothermia, or starvation. People will struggle to stay warm and turn to fire as a source of light. It's possible that major cities will catch fire if fires spiral out of control. The heat won't cause the fires to spread faster, but not enough people making an effort to put it out will. The unpredictable weather and tidal changes prevented coastal flooding from engulfing the population. 3 days after the sun sets, your group emerges from hiding in a bizarre winter wonderland. There is always the possibility of violence even though the majority of the population is dead. However, the majority of the survivors are prepared to cooperate. The widespread panic that resulted from people running for their homes would kill many. Only artificial light produced by electricity would be present, if the power plants continued to run and the employees who ran them were able to do so. The only chance for survival would be to quickly construct a habitat with artificially controlled temperature. The best option would be to live deeply underground by digging tunnels into the earth. The geothermal temperature rises from tectonic plate boundaries in the majority of the world would be about 1 degrees Fahrenheit per 70 feet of depth, or 25 degrees Celsius per kilometer. People could survive at a comfortable 75.5 degrees Fahrenheit, 24.1 degrees Celsius, if they could build a habitat around a mile or 1.6 kilometers underground. That is presuming they could establish and sustain a society with friendly inhabitants, dependable food supplies, and clean air systems. People would also require good artificial lighting and perhaps mood enhancers. Another choice would be to construct a habitat close to geothermal vents underwater. Stars do not erupt randomly. Usually, it takes place when much more massive stars explode as supernovae. To become a supernova, its mass would need to be 8 times greater. Stars enlarge as they decay. The solar system's inner planets, including the Earth, will likely be vaporized as the sun expands into a red giant star before collapsing and dying. Don't worry too much about this though. It will take 7 or 8 billion years for the sun to turn into a red giant star. So that's the end of the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss out on our next videos. Until the next video, take care.